Testing. Testing. Right, hopefully you've got audio this time. Right, hopefully. Good evening everybody, and welcome back to Urban Astronomy. It's been a while, several issues have been going off in my life, but I think most of them are sorted now. New equipment available to us, a slightly improved guide scope that is a little bit of overkill. The planetary camera that we're using is the ASI 224 colour planetary camera, and it's currently connected to the big scope with a 3x Barlow. On screen at the moment is Mars. It's pretty stable. We're just coming away from the rooftops. For it to be completely stable, I think we've got another hour or so to wait, even though we can still see some details there, and it will only get better. Later on we're going to have a look at Uranus and Neptune, hopefully, that is, if the weather holds out, because at the moment I am currently fighting the little gremlins getting us back online properly. This is the second part. First attempt at streaming had no audio, but hopefully this one should be working properly with audio. So I'm going to leave it on this screen for the moment. I'm just going to tweak with the, pardon me, I've got hiccups, tweak with the focus and everything, trying to get a little bit more detail. As I said, it is still over the rooftops, so there's a lot of thermal interference with the image that we're actually seeing on screen. But just going to try and run through the focus, see if we can find a sharper focus point. I think we'll leave it at that for now, and we'll have another go when we're clear of the rooftops. Should make a slight difference. And that's the current view with the guide scope. We're currently not guiding at the moment, as Mars there is overpowering everything else on screen. Might be a star there to lock onto later, but at the moment I don't think we need guiding, because the trim of the equipment is pretty solid, it's staying pretty central, no drift at all, but like I say, we've only been live for about half an hour, and we're still in shakedown mode. It is a little bit breezy, as per normal, and as things stabilise as we get away from those roofs, we shall have a look at other targets. I'll give you a current situation of where we're actually pointing right now. Right, Uranus is to the west and the Moon to the right. We're virtually central between them. And if we have a look across here, Saturn's just dropping below the horizon. See if we can pick up on Neptune. Right, there's Neptune. Right, I think we'll swing across and have a look at Uranus first. And let's get back to the main screen. And I think that's it there. Just see the blue colour coming through. We'll slowly increase the exposure, try and bring it in a bit. And there we have it. A little bit of tweaking on the focus. Let's see if we can bring it in. So the go-to is pretty accurate. It's not central, but it is on the screen. And we're currently only 3 frames per second. See what auto does for us. Right, we'll centralise it. Then we'll do a synchronization on it. And then we'll slew across and have a look at Uranus. Sorry, I mean Neptune. Miles away there. That's close enough, and we shall sync on that target. Current object synchronize. So there you go, that's just homed in onto that one. So close that, move this out of the way. Right, let's see if we can get the focus in a little bit. Because it's such a slow frame rate, the focus has to be done on small steps, waiting between each short adjustment to see if it's had a positive or negative effect on the focus. You may be able to hear the clicking in the background as I'm manually focusing. And I think we've passed main focus point. Let's go back. It's currently magnitude 5.72, which is quite dim for a planet, but we should be able to work with it. And that's as close as we've got. Right, let's have a quick look at the moon next. It's going to be super bright, so turn that down to 25. Yeah. Right, let's have a slew around the moon, see if we can pick any details up. Speed it up a bit. Right, tweak the focus again. You can see the thermal interference coming off the roofs, giving you that rippling effect. It's quite unfortunate where I am at the moment. Yeah, very unstable atmosphere at the moment. Right, let's have a look at the other camera, and that's way over the top. Now that's not going to be able to do much. That's guiding software, so it's not really relevant for observing. Right, I suppose what we can do, close that down.
Guide connection lost.
And have a look at Easy Planetary. Here we go. Right, the focus controller. This is part of the new software. So I've got a USB focus unit on the new telescope, and it's something I'm still getting used to. There we go. That's the view through the new scope with one of the original cameras. That's a QHY camera. And let's go down to a finer adjustment. And if we bring the other view back in, we're just along the edge of here. I do have the ability now to, that's the bottom part, do have the ability now to focus in now on synchronizing both views, so they can be both pointing quite accurately at the same target. Right, let's have a look at the next target. Neptune, another little blue target. And there it is again, roughly the same spot where the other one was. There we go. And there we have Neptune. Not a very fast frame rate, but Neptune nonetheless. Right, just checking the stream health, making sure we're okay. Yeah, we've got audio. I'm not checking the video quality. I'll do that after the stream. Anyway, let's just centralize that over to there. It's about 2.1 seconds. Oops, too far. There it is. Right, that's close enough. Just go to synchronize. It's a bit small and a bit dim. I don't think we'll be able to do anything with that. Right. Move that one out of the way. What have we got nearby? Not a lot on that one. Okay. I think we'll have something a little bit more structured for the next stream. Now we've got everything roughly working. Still a few little bugs to look at. Let's have a little tweak on the focus on this one. One thing I've not looked at is dew on the mirrors, because according to Clear Outside, we're just around 90% humidity. So that could be having an effect on the optics. It's actually forecast light rain in next hour. Anyway, let's skip back to Mars. Current object, slew. Right, Mars should appear somewhere on this screen in a second. And I think there it is. Shows you how bright Mars is compared to Uranus and Neptune. And back to focusing. Right, it seems to be settling down a bit. Right, we'll swap over to Sharp Cat. Might do a capture run. There we go. a bit of a tweak on focus. I'll leave it like that for a minute while I have a look at these settings. Auto's definitely not what's required on this one. RGB 24. Right, that's adjusted the colour a little bit. I might actually buy this software. It seems to be pretty capable, and it's got quite a few other features that I've not tried yet. And another tweak on the focus. I'll leave it at that for a minute. While the wind settled down. It's a bit breezy out there at the minute. If you look at the bottom right hand corner where the histogram is, you've got the blue, the green and red, and they all line up there. Ideally that peak would be a third up instead of the bottom eighth. Still picking up some detail on there. There's no filter wheel on this camera. That's on the 174. You don't normally have a filter wheel on a planetary camera, especially a colour one. turn the gain down a little bit and the focus exposure up a little bit. It gets rid of a little bit of that graininess at the cost of a slower frame rate. At the moment we're at 106 frames a second, so turn this up, frame rate drops. Right, let's have a go at a capture. 5,000 frames. Yeah, I'll do. And the bottom left hand corner gives you an indication of frames captured and frames dropped. If we reduce the capture area, you should get a slight increase in frame rate. I'll drop in quite a few frames at the minute. Could drop the colour depth as well, that will also give an increase in frame rate. There we go, that's what one run done. A little tweak on focus. And that will do. And we'll send it off again. Well, so far there's no dropped frame rate. I think when the buffer becomes full, that's when they start dropping frames. There we go, look. I suppose we could have a go at stacking a few. While it's doing that, assuming we could find where it stored it. Saving it as PNG. Let's have another go. We've dropped more frames than we've captured at the minute. And the next run will increase the gain a little bit and brighten the target up. I think my daughters are on the I'm going through some clouds now on the internet because they seem to be struggling on internet connection. And the SSD is at 100%. So I think a lot of these drop frames will be down to the colour depth and the size of the data that's being captured. I think it may be time to pick up a couple of SSDs for fast storage. There we go. Right, I'll leave that like that for now. New folder. That is why we can't find it. There we go, we'll just quickly open that. Looks a little bit grim. But I'm sure we can pull a picture out of this somehow. Might as well for the first evening back online, and it will give us something to beat next time we come online and have a stream. We are going for the best 800 frames. It's analysing the captured data, and it's going to do its head scratching for us. Right, limit. Yeah, we'll just stack them as we go. Should be pretty quick. Oh, there we go, and let's have a little tweak. Let's see what we can pull out of this. I should have dropped the resolution from maximum down to 640 by 480. It would have been a lot less data to handle, and it would have been a lot faster frame capture. Well, the colour balance doesn't quite look right, but we'll go with it and give us something to tweak later. Well, that's completely messed up the colour. You know what? I'm just going to do it at that. Which is not too bad. I'll just save that image just for a reference. There we go, that will do for that one. Right, let's just drop this down to 640 by 480. Just centralise it a little bit. It's not been drifting out of shot, which is a good thing. It says the equipment's balanced quite nicely. And the tracking's pretty much spot on. So everything seems to be working okay. Let's have a look at RAW 16. Now we'll stick with the RGB 24. This should be a little bit quicker and should be a lot less dropped frames. And there we go, so far it's dropped 0 frames and we're 2/3 of the way through. And there we go, 5,000 frames, 0 dropped. So there's a lot less data in there because we're capturing a lot less blank space. Right, I'm just going to do a bit of file management and move those files off the SSDs onto the storage. Create a folder called Mars. Capture. And the date 5/9/2020. There we go, Mars capture. And desktop, new folder, cut. Paste. Wow, 74 gigabytes in that file. I think there was some previous data in there from the testing that I did earlier on. That's going to be a few minutes before I can do anything else with it. So while that's doing that, let's see if we can tweak this image a little bit. That's actually cleared up quite a lot. The focus on that's not too bad, and the focal length that we're actually using at this moment in time is 4,500 millimeters, so it's quite a narrow field of view. Let's just tweak the settings, see if we get anything extra out of it. Turn the gain up and the exposure down. That's taken the frame rate up to 150 frames per second. So that should give us a slightly higher chance of a sharper image. So I'll just tweak this a little bit more. I think I'll leave it at that. And when that file's finished transferring, I'll see if I can capture a little bit more data. Yeah, I'll leave it at that because that's got quite a bit of detail on that. And we're at about 150 frames a second. File transfer is 50 megabytes a second, 12% through. Ouch. It's going to take a few minutes, that is. Right, a bit of a schedule for the coming weeks and dark evenings when we do get the clear skies. Once I've got all the fine tuning done of the cameras, the scopes, the alignment, we're going to have dedicated evenings to just Mars and the other two planets, Uranus and Neptune, and we'll try and get some more detail. We'll force the exposure and try and bring out some of the orbiting moons, bring that data in, and perhaps do a composite with overexposure to pick up the moons and standard exposure to pick up the main planets, and then we'll just blend them together so it displays all the data together. That'll be for the 3 minor planets. We'll also do another tour of the moon, the craters. That seemed to be pretty popular last time. And also we'll go with the wider field camera and go looking for a few comets, see if we can get some more detail on comets. The mirror has been cleaned. And the collimation needs to be double checked, because I've not checked that for the last 3 weeks while I've been working on the equipment. So that's going to need to be double checked and fine tuned. But we've also, with this new scope, this 80mm ED triplet, gives us a few different target options, because it's a really wide field. That, in combination with the DSLR, the full frame Canon camera in colour, should give us some opportunities for the harder to find nebula. The Witch's Broom, for example, and the Iris Nebula. There'll be two targets to go for with this new scope. It's one that I've not used at all yet, apart from for guiding, as you've seen. And the current view has nothing on it. I can do the alignment between the scopes in daylight. I think that might make it easier. %, and counting. Right, let's have a look at Stellarium. Right. The high point for all the targets is directly south. So Uranus, Mars and the Moon are still rising at the moment. And there's Neptune. Magnitude 7.8, which is not too bad, but if you compare that to Mars, minus 1.9, that's how bright that is. And Uranus is also quite bright. I think it's about magnitude 0.5. Oh, 5.7, so it's still a lot brighter than Neptune. Pleiades is coming up. Now that will be a nice target for the DSLR and the new scope. The Triangulum Galaxy, there's another nice target for the wider field scope. and these are all in the main areas of field of view for me. Phantom Galaxy, never photographed that. What's that look like? That might be one for the 174. Magnitude 9, so yeah, that one is quite dim, quite faint. We have a limiting horizon of about 30 degrees. So if it's below 30 degrees, it would be borderline whether we'll be able to pick up on it. And there's Neptune just approaching that 30-degree limit. If you're interested in having a look at potential targets, you could download this software, Stellarium. It is free to use, and if you type in a location of Mansfield, UK, that will give you the general area of the observatory here. And if you pick a target above 30 degrees, and the time it will be above that area, preferably in a southerly direction, we can swing across and perhaps do a capture run on it. %. Yep, that's going to be slow. A lot of data though. The SSD is pretty fast, but the spinning physical drive that it's transferring the data to is the limiting factor, hence the 50 megabytes per second. Andromeda's pretty high, so there's another potential target. That should fit easily within the field of view of the new scope, especially with the DSLR. Blue snowball. Now that's one that might be able to pick up with the planetary camera. It'd be a bit unstable. In fact, while we're waiting, are we on the right side of the meridian? I'd hate to do a meridian flip at this point. Yes, on the other side. Right, let's find a bright target for reference. Go for Deneb. Bear in mind this won't be as easy as normal because of the field of view. What's Vega at? That's just below 30. Oh no, it's 35. Let's have a go for Vega. Yeah, with such a narrow field of view for these cameras and scope combinations, it could be pretty tricky to pick these up. So this one would have to be on here. That wasn't too bad, was it? A meridian flip, and it's within the frame of view. So let's see if it's on the shot cap. Just slew a little bit. Seven frames per second, so it should show up on screen now, something bottom right there. So it should be quite a large object on screen, especially with a 3 power Barlow on a 1500mm focal length. Got to be quick on the button to stop it slewing. There we go. That is Vega. Let's just slow that down a bit. Right, just synchronize on that. Current object, synchronize, slew. There you go, it's aligned on it. So with that having a reference now, that's what it looks like on the other scope with a different focal range. Right. We were looking for the blue snowball, weren't we? I think. There we go. There you go, far away. Right, with that last accurate slew, we should land within the area of that. And let's have a look. Move that out of the way. Right, it's just landed on it now. And let's up the exposure. I think that might be it just there. And for a planetary camera, yeah, I think it is, where long exposures aren't its forte, picking up a little planetary nebula such as that is not too bad. Not as good as I'd hoped. Oops, that's too far on the focusing. Right, somehow I don't think we're going to get much better than that, because the planetary camera in combination with a 3x Barlow is not the right combination for this target, but it was worth bringing up to see if we could find it, and it has done. I'm just going to synchronize on it. Too faint. Magnitude 11. No wonder it's a little bit faint, and that's magnitude 11. Let's go and have a look at that. And let's wait for that to land on its target. Right, the scope's there. I think we're actually pushing it quite a bit to find some of these targets with a planetary camera and a 3x Barlow. Ten past 2 in the morning. File transfers 85%. Once that's complete, we'll go back to Mars and do another capture run on Mars. Could that be part of the Pegasus cluster? No, I think that's just a bloated star. The Pegasus cluster should be quite intense. It should almost fill the screen. So look how far out we are. Yeah, that should fill the screen. Now I'm just doing a spiral search, see if we can land on it. No, too small. I've got the reaction times of a snail at the minute, this time of night. Been up since 5:30 yesterday morning, and I'm running on a cup of tea I had about 2 hours ago. And I'm trying to sort the issues out before going to do a proper live stream. So not really a good combination. But for a shakedown evening, we've got an image of Mars that is going to be, oh, there we go, look, the Pegasus cluster. Let me just tweak it a little bit. And I'm quite surprised at that, because with a 3x Barlow and a planetary camera, none of which was designed for this particular target, too far on the focus. File transfer is nearly complete. I'm actually feeling a bit lazy, so I don't feel like going outside and taking the Barlow off, which would make this target a reasonable target. Just trying to get a little bit more detail out there, just isolate some of those stars with a focus, and it should give a reasonable focus for the next target when we go back to Mars. Now I've just gone overcooked it a little bit, let's just back it off. What's the other camera got? No, needs aligning. Right, the file transfer is just about finished. That's how far out we were. It will just synchronise on that for accuracy. There we go, just saw the scope indicator drop onto there. And move over to scope, close that, back out, find Mars. Sure we left it over here somewhere. And let's send this scope across the universe. There she goes. File transfer is just about complete. Job done. So that's freed up space on this, on the SSDs, because the SSDs were not very large for this camera data, planetary data. It's not too bad for single frames, multiple single frames, because the requirements are a lot lower. Right, let's see if we've got it on any of the cameras. That might be it just there. Let's drop this exposure right back down. Oops, there we go. Let's centralize it, and then we'll change the resolution, 640 by 480, and we'll get a few thousand frames on that. Right, that's roughly where we want it, and 640 by 480. That gains way too much. 113 frames a second. I think I'll leave the focus there because we got a pretty good focus on the other target, and we'll just tweak oops, too much. Right, capture that. Right. Why is it not saving this new capture folder? Oh dear. How do we select a new capture folder? $5,000. There we go. Right, I think I might do one more capture after this, because I moved the frame in a second ago. Do a live stack and then call it a night. Because it's coming up to 21 hours of being awake. I'm not as young as I used to be. There you go, that's that one done. Right, let's just align that centre a bit. Right, 112 frames a second. Let's see if we can improve that a little bit. So turn the gain up, exposure down. 160 frames a second. Just turn the gain up a little bit more. 175 frames a second. Let's give that a run. Well, I've got 4 more days off work. The forecast is for a few potential clear evenings, and I shall be coming online at my normal time of around 10 o'clock, and I'll do a bit of a talk and a bit of a setup so you can see what we're going to be using and any potential targets we want to look at. So if you're watching this after I've done the live stream, I'm back, and we're going to be using some new equipment and some new configurations with this said equipment. As you can see, I think we've got clouds starting to go across now. Keeps fading it a little bit. Just going to do one quick capture on that. And one future purchase that I've not done yet is a webcam. I'm going to have a face cam in the corner. There we go, job done. Let's see if we can stack some of these and see if we get a decent image out of it. Right, we'll go with that last one. Load it up. There we go. As before, it looks quite useless data. What I'm doing, I'm scrolling through trying to find a reasonable image for a reference for stacking. Yeah, we'll do that one. And I'm going to drop the frame count down to the best 300. If you're curious about what we're going to be doing in the future, or you like what you've seen so far, please like and subscribe, and check out some of my older videos, because some interesting ones, especially with the comet that was breaking up. Right, let's just do a bit of stack on that, not too bad. We'll leave it at 800, stack the image. There we go. It looks a lot better even there. So tweaked it a little bit. Don't think that's going to work. Colours off again. Strange. Right, dual. Well, I think for this time of night that'll do for a quick stack on Mars. Save the image to the desktop. Mars 2 5/9/2020. There we go. I'll close that. And Mars has been stolen. Oh no, clouds, it's still there. have a look on the other one. That's still visible. Right, I think I'll call it a night at that. We've tested most of the equipment out. We've not tried the new scope, the triplet, but that's going to be used mainly with the DSLR full frame camera. So that might be the star of the show on the next stream. Do some wide field stuff and some nebula, catch some nebula. Right, I'm going to send this one to bed. There she goes. And Venus is starting to rise. So the sun won't be far behind. There you go, look. And my telescope parking position is somewhere around here. Put the ground base back up. There you go. Now with the scope pointing down at that low angle, I can close the roof on the observatory without bumping into any of the equipment. So I'll move that down there, close that screen down, close that one down, close that one down. Right, that is everything. And that's the streaming software that I've been using. There we go. Right, so once again, thank you for watching, thank you for joining in. And now we've had a bit of a shakedown, we get the equipment a bit more fine-tuned, so the next stream will be a little bit more focused and a little bit more on point. We'll be trying the wider scope out with the full frame camera and see what sort of success we're going to be having with that. So thank you again for joining me. My name's Angie, and don't forget, like and subscribe and hit that bell button and you'll get notification of the next time we start streaming. So thank you very much, have a nice evening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a nice morning.